Hey, this is Pamela Schneider. I'm the retail editor for Blue Book Services, and this is the Produce Reporter Week in Review. Greg, I visited an apple orchard over the weekends. I did not pick any though because I'm not into you pick.
I don't believe you. It's better than you pick strawberries. That's a lot of damn work.
Yeah, right. That is a ton of work. I did pick sunflowers, however, because that was right next to it. I spent the weekend in Western North Carolina, apparently in apple country. I had no idea that Hendersonville, North Carolina is and their local mascot is the Hendersonville Honeycrisps for the baseball team. That's hilarious and amusing. Um, but it was a follow-up to the Southeast Produce Council's Southern Innovations show that was held in Charlotte. And I think the general consensus from that show is that, it was pretty good. They had to do some pivots. I mean, the keynote speaker, Daryl Waltrip, who I met when I was a kid, got he had some mechanical issues with his plane, and then also Hurricane Lee grounded flights where he was. But this is the produce industry, and we know how to pivot. So they were able to make something out of it. But zooming around the show floor, I found a few key trends in new products that I really thought were related to a fun take on convenience and flavor.
Yeah, I saw your story. Those it looks like a lot of those products are kind of geared toward families and just making eating produce more entertaining.
Yes, I mean, a burger salad kit that I'm sure my boys would be entertained by that. Potatoes that have directions based on how you want them and what gadget you want to use. I thought that was really interesting, especially the air fryer instructions and how the air fryer instructions say if you want them crispy, you put them in here. If you want them quick, you put them in the microwave. If you want them creamy, you microwave them in mash. So I thought that the directional, making it easy and approachable and a little bit fun, especially with the gadgets, I thought that was spot on. Halloween branding for tomatoes. I hadn't seen anything like that before. There were quite a few new products, although for me, it's just a little taste of what we'll see next month in Anaheim. But I thought everyone I talked to thought the show they saw everyone they needed to see. And as it's a little bit smaller, well, actually quite a bit smaller than the Southern Exposure in the spring, it maybe is a little bit more intimate and you get a little more time with the buyers that you see. So overall, pretty positive reviews for the most recent Southeast Produce Council show.
Yeah, you've been talking a lot this year about how as a home meal preparer, you can get exhausted. So anything that food producers or retailers can do to make it easier, you appreciate that. And it sounds like these products are starting to address that a little more. And I would think that we'd see a lot more of that next month even.
Yeah, I know. I mean, even today in the news releases, we got new salad kits from Man Packing and PF Chang's. So that flavor experience you get at a restaurant, branded from the restaurant. It's the two most popular salads on their menu. I thought that was really interesting because we talk about salad kits and how salad kits are booming because they give you that culinary experience with the ease and cost of making it at home. So we're going to see way beyond that original. I can remember the first time I ever had bag salad. It was a Fresh Express, and it was the iceberg lettuce with the shreds of purple cabbage, I think probably, before it got replaced by radicchio, and then little spears of carrot. Super, super basic. And now we are getting a full-on restaurant experience with those.
Well, did they talk about like what makes up the kinds of foods in Richard's column this week about HPFs, which stands for hyper palatable foods?
We didn't talk about that specifically, of course, at the show, but it really made me think about some of the attributes that we're talking about in the fresh produce industry. And Anna Marie had the freshest research, as she always does. Right before the show, she fields a study on what's new and what consumer trends are really pushing. And in her, I remember two things specifically that I'm going to dig into with her for further analysis. And one of them was this word cloud, where we're talking about the things that consumers are looking for when they're buying produce, like attributes. And the biggest word by far out of everything was vitamin C. And for me, vitamin C is like, nobody's deficient in this country in vitamin C. I mean, it's one of those ones. I have a basic understanding of nutritionists and that whole thing. And from what I understand, if you eat too much vitamin C, the rest is just, flushing right out with you.
Yeah, people must think they're like pirates.
Yeah, gonna get scurvy. Nobody's getting scurvy. Apples have vitamin C. Brussels sprouts have vitamin C. Kool-Aid has vitamin C. I mean, candy, any kind of candy you're eating has citric acid, almost all of them. But this hyper palatable food thing is really fascinating. It reminds me of, I can't remember which show it was at, but a while ago, they had Michael Moss, author of a book called Salt, Sugar, Fat. And he talked about how the food industry engineered foods to make you crave them more. And that's kind of what Richard was talking about in his column, about how, we're talking about Oreo cookies and, Miracle Whip
The Ritz
and
crackers and all the stuff in the middle of the store, like, that's good. I need more of that. Lay's potato chips. It's that way because it's engineered to be that way. And yeah, he dug into some of the background on this, and he pointed some fingers. Like, he points out that the tobacco companies that basically sold an addictive product in the 40s through 60s before people knew how addictive and harmful they were. They were designed to be addictive, and then after they got they got slapped on the wrist and sued, and they started investing in food production companies that made a lot of these hyper palatable foods in the 80s and 90s. And basically the charge is that they did the exact same thing as they did with cigarettes, and that's they engineered them to be addictive. And I mean, it's still out there today. That he quotes a study about these foods, and the study authors suggest that the government ought to regulate it like they do some other harmful substances. And I would never really push for more regulation, but if you're going to regulate something, it does make more sense, because obesity is a huge problem in our country, and a lot of it has to do with what we eat compared to other countries who have lower obesity rates. And it's center store, man. It's these addictive products that we don't even know are addictive.
Yeah, and the produce industry, like you said a few minutes ago, doesn't have that, but it's got a lot of other great things going for it. So what can we do to raise more awareness so people aren't just thinking vitamin C when they think of the produce department? I would suggest, based on me approaching that curve into middle age, I don't know, is my age middle age yet? Probably. But you know what the most important thing I think most doctors would say about eating fruits and vegetables? Fiber. Because no one's deficient in vitamin C, but almost everyone is deficient in fiber.
Yeah, and honestly, if I know, like, my body knows when I don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. So it's not if they were designed that way, it was by God.
There you go.
The country or companies.
I mean, you got a good point there. That the ideal food there would definitely be something in the produce department. But yeah, we've got to figure out a way to get better messaging, I guess, to get people to think more of fresh produce and not just vitamin C and not just healthy, but all the other things that it brings to the table. Yeah.
Yeah, and not food wagging and scolding, which is why we're wearing our Have a Plants, and the Fruits and Veggies month is September, and I loved when PBH and now a part of IFPA when they started focusing on mood, rooted in a better mood, because it's not scold, it's how do I live a better life? And eating better and eating fruits and vegetables is the way. It's the way for everyone. It's such an easy, just easy, simple formula that is not harmful. It's not like, when you go on a diet and exercise, it feels like it can be painful and work, and just eating more produce, and you don't even have to cut out the other stuff. It's just you're not hungry for it.
Right. Or, I mean, you don't even have to cut out the other stuff. You just add more produce, and hopefully it would replace some of the other stuff eventually, because like you said, you're not hungry anymore. I know when my kids come from home from school, they are starving. And if I don't have, if they don't have something easy and ready for them, they will eat a 5-cup bowl full of fruits and vegetables if I chop it up and have it ready for them. But if they don't, then they're eating Slim Jims. So it's a matter of making it easy, making people recognize it, making people realize how it makes you feel, and that whole Joy of Fresh thing. The IFPA is still pushing the Joy of Fresh, and I really like that idea of what it brings to the table beyond nutrition. It makes you feel good, it makes you happy. Yeah, we need to be pushing this as much as we can.
Yeah, and we don't cover floral, but I love how floral is a part of it, because it's a regular part of my diet.
Well, I was picking
I don't eat them, but I buy them regularly.
Yeah, I buy them as regularly as I remember to buy them, but actually I'm in my elder millennial gen whatever
Geriatric millennial.
Geriatric millennial, thank you, geriatric millennial. And I am in the eldest of all of the millennials, and I'm in my plant era. So my house is full of plants now. I've been growing them for more than a year. And as soon as I am ready to unveil my upgraded office, you will see all of the plants all over in here one of these days.
I'm looking forward to that. I actually adopted some plants recently.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I had a kid go to college, and I get reminded every week to water her plant.
She didn't take them to her dorm with her?
Well, some. She couldn't take them all.
Oh, okay. The Produce Reporter Week in Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up.